For me, what does it mean to be a father? It's about teaching, it's about protecting, it's about mentoring, it's preparing other people to be adults, and for me, preparing them to be fathers and husbands themselves. So it's about teaching everything that I have learned from my own father and still learning, and then teaching them how to teach their sons and their daughters when the time comes. That's what it means to me.
Yeah, for me, it's all of those things, and also imparting knowledge that possibly was not imparted to me. Like, you know, so helping them not to make the same mistakes, giving them like a head start.
Yes.
You know, the start that I didn't get.
Yes.
So to me, that's one of the major things that comes in being a father.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, for me, when I think about fatherhood, I think you touched it very well. Just this whole idea of modeling for them what it looks like to be good citizens in this world, what it looks like to serve and not to be served, what it looks like to mentor them as well. And so just being mentors to my children, because I recognize all of them are different, because I don't want to create mini Seans, so to speak, but just them being able to benefit from my experience and the community that I've been a part of, but then seeing the individual strengths in them and saying, you know what, let me try and stir up those giftings. Let me try and stir up those types of passions that they have, so that they can, again, serve and not just simply be served, because that's important in these times. You know?
I have two boys. Younger one is 6 and the older one is 10. So definitely boy dad.
Well, I have twin girls. So I'm a girl dad through and through. I currently live with 4 women. So you know what comes with that. So it's been exciting, you know, and interesting. Even though they're twins, they have their own personalities, and you know, and they have their own needs.
Yes.
You know, one is a bit more clingy.
Yeah.
Likes to be hugged, like to cuddle. Other one, don't touch me. Right, and they like to explore and you know, search things, pull things off shelves, you know, that kind of exciting stuff. So it's really a full-time job with those two, and, but it's fun. It's fun so far.
Can imagine. I like to describe my household as a 6-a-side football team. So 4 children, 12-year-old, have a 10-year-old, then a 8-year-old. Actually, no, I think I mixed that up. Yes, that's right. So I can never remember. The joke is I tell people I always mix it up. So it is a 12-year-old, it is a 10, and then a 9-year-old, and then a 6. So it's boy, girl, boy, boy. But you know, people say, oh, you know, how the one girl feel? That one girl is girl enough to overwhelm everybody. So she's like quite fine on her own. So yeah, that is what the household looks like.
When my first son was born, maybe about 2 weeks after he was born, and just getting used to holding a baby, because I don't think I'd held a baby, especially one that young. So I was getting comfortable, and we had fed him. So as we were playing with him, and his name is Joseph, so kind of lift him up in the air. So, super Joseph boy, up in the air. Maybe a second after I put him up there and started turning him around, everything just came right down, everything.
Sure.
Yeah, so don't feed them and then lift them up and spin them around in circles right after that. No, don't do it. So that was a learning experience, but it was fun.
You taking notes?
No, actually, I learned that the hard way already. So yeah, don't throw the baby up in the air when they just.
No, don't do that. No. And for me, the joy is because I primarily work from home. So when they come home in the afternoons, they've kind of developed this way of just coming into the room.
Yeah.
And they just peep around, especially my younger son.
Yeah.
And then they go out again. And that kind of just lifts any afternoon.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's a good thing for me.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, I think the joy is of for me in being a father is, before I was a father, I was the type of person who, I don't, you keep your baby over there, right? That's not, I'm not gonna hang out with children, right? So it was quite a change for me, really. Not having not one but two babies. To tend to entertain, have to keep them engaged, because they're not screen babies, which was weird. But you can't just put them in front of a tablet or a TV and they'll sit. No, they have to
engage.
Yeah. And they need to see you looking at them, smiling with them, and so it was quite a change for me. But also, like I said, joy, because it's just the genuineness of children.
Yeah.
Right? And it's literally what you see, what you get. There's no guide. They have no reason to say, well, they can't say anything, but not yet. But they don't say what they think you want them
to hear.
They don't want you to hear. So it's just seeing genuine reactions. Like when I come home, they actually have to see.
Yeah.
Right? And they smile. I told my wife the last time, women were so happy to see me, it was not good thing. Right? So and I could genuinely see that the love and the affection is there.
Yeah. Having children changes you. Yeah. Especially having the first one, you're a different person afterwards.
Yeah, man, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. I mean, and even when you say having the first one, I think one of the things I remembered the first time getting my son, right? And I looking at my son and saying, wow, like I don't know this youth. We don't know him. Like, your wife, you get to know her and you fall in love and all these things. Friends, even you start to say, I rate this person over time. You have a child, you don't know nothing about them. They don't do nothing for you yet, right? But you love them.
Yeah.
And you realize at that moment, I'd kill somebody for this child. Like legit, like you realize, wait, hold on, I would do anything to protect this child. Like when you realize that, and you're like, wow, like it hit me that these children cause you to realize just what love looks like. And as you rightfully say, you see their genuineness as well, because that's, you spend a lot of time in the world trying to, I guess, build a certain credibility among people and to be respected. But it's amazing to see, as you rightfully say, you come home and these children love you. And that my kids are still at that stage, because again, the LS is 12, so they're not annoyed with me yet, right? So I mean, when I think of joys, it's like it's a family nights. It's a family nights where we sit down and we're playing, pass round donkey or whatever, and you see that they enjoy being around us, and we enjoy each other as a family. And so that's one of the great joys for sure, just knowing that we love each other and we can enjoy each other, so
and also just watching them learn and figure out new things
and become their own person.
And it's simple, like when they first figure out how to stand on their own, it's light up like, I'm doing it, I'm doing it. And it's like, baby, you're doing it. So, and it's like, those things, it's small, people are like, well, everybody walks, so like, what's the big deal? But, but it's just to see them transition.
No, and I will add to that, because my son has special needs. So every milestone is a big deal.
Yeah.
Like he's doing tests now, and when we hear that, but he's done well, and we say, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
So you take nothing for granted, and you celebrate everything.
Yeah, that's good.
Like you don't have much sense, you celebrate everything. But that is it.
Yeah, man. That's good.
I'd see my first child. Like I was there when he was born, so I was in the room, And it didn't hit me until maybe probably a couple hours later that this is my child. Like, I am responsible for him, and it's like a big deal. And as Sean said, this is all of a sudden, this is just a person that you have to take care of them. And like you said, out of the blue, you love this child. Like, I remember standing there and just praying over him when he was just born. I couldn't even finish the prayer. I started crying. I was like, why am I crying? But that's just what happened.
Yeah.
And you just, over time, you kind of have to, I'm still learning how to do it. And I don't know when I'm going to finish learning. But there's a point when it's intimidating, and then there's a point when it is just the both of you growing, and you and your children growing, us growing as parents, them growing as people. And it's still happening. We're still learning, we're still going through it. But at first it was intimidating, and like I said, I just started crying. I don't know why. We're happy. Yeah.
I mean, for me, it was just, standing there. I mean, it was during the pandemic, so I could be in the room. So when they brought them out and they had them, I could, see them through the window.
Right.
And the one that came out first, she was just looking at me like,
who you?
Yeah.
And I'm looking, and she's looking, and I'm looking, and the other one was sleeping. It's like, wow, wow. And I was just looking and stood there for what felt like hours. Just staring. And I was like, wow, And I'm still kind of there because I'm only 15 months in. It's still settled in, but it's, you see them grow up, and they are not identical, they're paternal twins. So you have one, just so the Lord would have it. One looks like me, and the other one looks like my mother.
Okay.
So there's like this, division there, but it's just to see even the resemblance. I'm not sure if you had this when you were kids, if there's a strong resemblance when you were with the mother.
Yeah, for sure.
But just to look at that and be like, wow. I actually made a human.
Yeah, man.
So
yeah, man. And for sure, like for me in the early stages, I would tease my wife that she basically copy and paste, because like all the babies, they kind of looking. You see that they look kind of similar. So we used to have a game where we'd say to people, can you identify which child, which baby is who? Because again, they had just very similar looks.
Yes.
But again, eventually you realize, okay, it's similar looks, but certainly different personalities as they grow. You can see that. So that's true. That's true.
Wow. I don't know if balance is the right word, but certainly, I think I try to make sure that I prioritize my family as a whole. So my wife and my children, they understand that I have to work.
Yeah.
So they understand that, well, Daddy has meetings, and sometimes Daddy has meetings early and sometimes Daddy has meetings late. The pandemic, being at home, has made it a little easier to balance it because I'm there.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, even you can take a few minutes and you stop and you talk to them, and then you spend a little time, and then you go back to work. But certainly it is that I think I prioritize my family, their well-being, making sure I'm there for them first and foremost, and making sure that they understand that, well, we have to work. That's just our lot in life. We have to work. And teaching them that responsibility about making sure that we work, and teaching them about making sure that we serve at church, and they see me doing that. And I think that's important. So that's how I kind of approach that balance. Not so much as a balance, but as you said, modeling and showing them this is what life is and what life is about.
Unfortunately for me, my children don't understand that I have to work.
No, they don't.
And if I'm there and they see me, they'll come over. They're at the point now they walk in and they're saying a few words, they understand. I get to find out that they understand, and they know baby talk. I tell them not to do something they know not to do.
Right.
But what I try to do is give them times during the day. So since I'm home, when I have a break, I'll go and spend a little time with
Right.
them. But what I've done is to avoid them wanting to be around me all the time, give them work to do. So they have built blocks, they go put the blocks,
That's good.
and then because it's two of them,
Yes.
they'll play with each other and then I'll go back to my meeting. And or after that, if their mom is not in a meeting, then they'll go upstairs for her. And then the nanny comes. We have a nanny who used to work at a daycare.
Okay.
So she not only watches them, but
Right.
she plays with them, she teaches them.
Teaches, yes.
And, so all of that come together, to keep their days filled.
So, right, thank you.
That
Yeah.
is something to work.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I think I said it a little at the top in terms of, so I think about being a father, teaching them what it looks like to serve. And so I guess the balance ends up looking like, for me, just kind of letting them know that, hey, listen, my work, my job is to serve the family, is to serve others, and kind of bring them into that. So like, as you rightfully said, they might see me on TV doing different things or on social media, and when I grow up, I want to do what you're doing. And I'm like, well, first of all, understand that what I'm doing when I was studying never existed, right? So don't worry about being a problem solver, and then you'll be fine, right? And so I will constantly just try, as I said, bring them into my workspace. I'm also a pastor, so bring them into what that looks like.
Yes.
So just letting them realize again, your purpose in life is to serve with the gifts that God has given you, and let that be a teaching moment. So I think you said it best, where it's not so much how I balance, but this is a part of teaching them that.
Yeah.
When they get to see that daddy spends his time working long and then having to come home and spend time with them and then spend time with mommy. So I let them know Tuesday is date night. So them have to know that, it's Tuesday at whatever time, you have to go bed early. And they learn stuff from that. It was a problem at first. No, they're like, you remember it's date night. So they remind me, what you doing for date night?
Yeah.
What we're doing for family night. So again, it's just this overall teaching them what service and serving people means.
Yeah. I don't know who says that.
I have to drink before I answer that.
All right, we set out wanting to be calm. Let's put it that way. You don't always stay calm. That's just my experience. There are certain things now that we have to listen calmly. So you may hear them say something, or you may see them do something, and the first reaction is, what you just say? But then you kind of have to suppress that, because if there are other things in the future, especially at their age, I want them to say it.
Yeah.
Because I want to be the one that they say it to. Because I want to be the one to talk to them about it, right? So I have to keep that in the back of my mind every time. That being said, there are times when you do stay calm. I don't think I could say that realistically, I stay calm all the time and I'm just this even. No. There are times when you kind of just snap and you say, you have to take discipline seriously, and that's one of the things. But I do my best. I think that is as much as we can pray and do our best as parents, because there are many books, but I don't think there's any full right book about just parenting. You learn.
Well, I mean, even if
you
they
learn
do,
on the way.
problem is your child is your child.
That's
so there's
right
no
too.
book on parenting
My
your
child.
child.
And
So that's the thing.
my two are very different.
Exactly.
And your four are different.
There
and
you go.
your two are different.
Yeah.
So you kind of learn along the way. But I think being calm is important.
No,
and especially when it comes to teaching lessons. Because if you blow up every time your child says or does something, it doesn't mean that they're going to learn. It just means that it won't happen around you.
Exactly.
And it will happen around somebody else who will teach them something. And it may not be what you want them to learn.
Yeah,
So
that's good.
That's how I try to encourage myself.
Well, like I said earlier, I live in a house full of women, so being calm is a necessity. because you can't blow up when everybody else blowing up, right?
Right.
You know, so well, we're at different stages. So we're at the stage where the baby fall out. Then,
Yes.
you know, I learned that if you react,
Yes.
then the baby will react.
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
Yes.
For sure.
You know, so the first thing you have to do is take them over. Oh,
Yeah.
baby bump our head, you know, okay, it's alright, you're gonna be fine. They'll cry for a little bit of stuff, but
Right.
if you are carrying on as well, and you know, they'll be like, oh, this is how we react, okay, and you know,
Yes.
it goes on and on. So it's kind of a necessity. As the father there, just keep the level head. Maybe I'll have to go into a room and scream, but you know, just to get everybody else calm down.
Right.
And that's the stage where I know they're pulling stuff down. So no, that's not for the baby. You'll get hurt or you'll fall. And even though they're not talking, I feel like they understand because you tell them not to do something and they don't do it.
Right.
Right. So to me, that is working thus far. But being calm, no. I mean, there are two girls. I mean, you have a daughter, so I don't know what's in store for me.
What's in store is waking up. She's crying. You say, "Baby, what's wrong?" I don't know.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Again, you know, we should stay calm. We're human. So I think one of the best things I've been able to teach my children is this whole apologizing thing.
Yes.
So when I blow up, when you know my wife or I blow up, we're like, we are supposed to apologize. Now it's funny, it might be a generational thing. I mean, I don't remember a lot of apologies in my time, but I realized, wait, no, this is an important thing to teach my children, to realize, oh, mommy and dad, them not perfect.
Yeah.
Because they know we're not perfect, you know, but oftentimes we just do what we do with parenting, we blow up at them or whatever. But then if they blow up at their sibling, we look at them and say, no, well, it doesn't matter what they did. You shouldn't respond in that way. Yet, I'm very responsible of responding negatively when they do something wrong, right? And again, they probably won't be able to say, yeah, but daddy, why you shouting at me just because I did X? They're smart enough not to do that. But because of that, one of the things realize, all right, you know what? When I'm not calm, what I need to do is I need to go and apologize after. I need to say, hey, I'm sorry about that. And I think, you know, we're teaching a powerful lesson in that way. This whole thing about taking accountability of the mistakes you make, right? And as I said, even if again, you can do all these strategies, count to 10, all of these things. But again, when you don't remain calm, we follow through by, you know, I'm sorry about that. I shouldn't have spoken to you that way. Yes, you did that, but I was wrong. And again, we don't lose ground when we do that.
No.
We're just teaching. So I think that's what's powerful.
But like you said, they know that we're not perfect. So it really don't make sense to pretend that we are.
Exactly.
Right? They know.
Yeah.
So that the facade that we can try and keep up, they just store it in the back of their minds. But they know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
And even this, so one of the other things that my wife and I were trying to do with them is like, communication is key. Right, and we have to teach them how to communicate also. So like she was, when we go to the grandparents and changing them, she will say, "Tell the baby what you're doing." I'm changing the baby. I'm changing the diaper.
That's good.
We're cleaning the baby now.
Yes.
Grandparents will look at us like, "It's a baby." You don't understand what you're saying, right? But for us, it matters.
It does. That's good.
Because they're learning the language as well.
That's good.
You know, and you know, they say the longest profession is, you know, but I think the longest skill set is communication, because the person who is able to communicate in any form will always have people, either people following them. Like now we have social media people following you because why you communicate. Right?
Yes.
You know, you have people in leadership positions, not because they're brighter or smarter than them, because they're able to communicate.
That's true.
Right.
That's true.
You know, if you're smart but you don't, and nobody knows because you don't speak to anybody, then you know,
how much do you really?
Or useful is that for anybody? You know, so for us, communication is key, and being able to effectively communicate. So I think we're trying to do that, even though that wasn't done for us, but we're trying to do that for them so they can have a leg up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
If I look at it from father to father, do the very best. Think about men and women will raise themselves. If children are born, a girl will always become a woman, a boy will always become a man. But think about us trying to raise ladies and gentlemen. Be deliberate about trying to do our best to create productive, valuable members of the society. People who can then turn around and pour into other people. People who can make wise decisions without us telling them, so that they too can turn around and teach, whether it is their children, other children, or influence others around them to act in the same way. That's really just about spending time with the children, listening to them, understanding who they are. As you said, they're not many versions of us. They're their own persons. So it's about us trying to kind of harness that direction that they have and point them in the best way possible. We are Christians, so we teach our children about the Bible. They come to church, they go to Sunday school. But we really want to start at home and kind of create the society that we want from home and from in our families. And it's just about trying to help them make good decisions that sometimes they'll have to put the best for others above themselves. I think that's what I would say as a father to a father. And love their mother. Love your wives. Love their mother.
Fathers who have young babies, you treat them like they're persons because they are persons. Right? They're not pets. They're not expenses or inconveniences.
Yes.
So like Ian said, make time for them. It's good if you can get them on a routine so they know that what time is their time. And similar to how Sean's children know that date night is date night and they have their time. So you make time for them even from a young age and get them to understand that, and treat them as if they are real persons, grown people with feelings and
yes,
and wants as well. So they can have that feeling of belongingness.
Yes.
So you don't have to, the child don't grow up into somebody who have a lacking or a daddy complex, or they go seeking that love elsewhere.
Yes.
So if that is already in the home from birth, and they don't have to go searching for that, you find that it makes a better human
person.
I mean, I would say two things. One, intentionality. Just you know what matters to you when you look at your calendar, and so when you look at your timeline and you realize, wait, I don't have intentional time to, whether it be the one-on-one with my children or together, fix that, because the growth and the impact you have won't be as automatic as you feel. We really have to be intentional. And the next thing I'd say is perseverance. This is we're parenting for life. And so there are things sometimes I want to see change in my children now. She's like, no, just like you plant, you water. Eventually you see increase, eventually you see fruit.
Yes.
And just recognize, all right, just be faithful to do certain things. There are things I realized I becoming a father, I looked up and said, wow, my dad was an awesome dad. Yes. I didn't say that while I was a child. But now I see it. Yes. And so I just have to realize, okay, I'm doing things right now that's going to benefit them that they might not be able to appreciate right now, but they will eventually.
Yes.
So persevere, look at it as a long game, be intentional, and just faithful.
Yeah.
So that's my advice. Yeah.